All right, everybody, I think we can probably get started here. Thank you all so much for joining our virtual orientation session this afternoon. My name is Jackie Iovich. I work in the admissions department, and we are ready to talk all about orientation, e-mentors, and everything that the department has planned for you guys as incoming students. So let me quickly introduce Melissa Howells, who organizes orientation, and you'll be seeing a lot of her as a student on campus, and also Alana Guerrero, who is the student coordinator for orientation this year. Also have with us on the call Kreski, who is the executive director of undergraduate admissions. So just want to introduce everyone, also remind you guys that this session is being recorded, so at any time you can go back to it. We will be sending out links later on. Additionally, please use our Q&A feature for questions. Missy and Alana will go over a lot of information, but we also want to take some time to answer your questions. So feel free to just type them in the Q&A, and we will get to them as soon as we can. Some of them may be even answered live. Also, some may be answered just via chat. So thank you guys so much for joining, and with that, I'm going to turn it over to Missy and Alana to kick it off for the orientation session. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Jackie. Appreciate it. And thank all of you for being here. We know it's an absolutely gorgeous day out, at least where I am. So we hope that you're enjoying lovely weather as well. I think summer has finally started with the start of Memorial Day. So how perfect was that with timing? So as Jackie mentioned, we're going to talk a little bit about orientation today here at Wilkes. So of course, with everything that's been going on in the world, our orientation is going to look a little bit different this year. But it's certainly not going to be any different in the services that we deliver to you. It's just going to be a different format. So instead of seeing us in person, we're going to see you virtually in a lot of formats like this for orientation. So let's start a little bit with some logistical information for you. So again, we're moving to an online but interactive format for orientation. So while you are going to be logging on to see a lot of things that you need to do during orientation, you are going to be able to interact with a lot of resources that we have on campus, colleagues of ours, certainly, and as more importantly, the things that you'll have to look forward to the fall semester. So again, it's going to be online, but it is going to be very interactive. So to start with our schedule, our orientation dates are set for June 28th, and that'll run through July 2nd. And then again, a second session being offered July 12th through the 16th of July. We're offering what's an extended orientation. Sometimes we do this in person and we do a 2-day orientation, but now you have 5 days to get to learn about Wilkes a lot more via virtual format here. So we've purposefully extended those days so you can see everything that we have to offer here at Wilkes, and you can do this at your own pace. So to start, you'll be logging in, and again, you only have to pick one of these sessions. So we have 2 sessions to choose from, but you can pick from one of them, whatever works best for your schedule. So you'll log on that first day of orientation, and you'll get to see everything that you'll need to do throughout that week, everything that you can participate in, and everything you can learn about. So I have an example up in front of me here, and I'm just gonna click on my schedule to see what we have to offer for you. So of course, again, that first day, it's going to be getting to know what you're going to need to do during orientation. But most importantly, you're going to learn a little bit more about your academic priorities for the fall. So for example, you'll be able to hear a message from our university college staff about transitioning into college academically. Some different tips and tricks that you'll need to learn transitioning from high school learning into college classroom setting. Then you'll get to hear from your academic advisor. And something that we normally get to do in person that you'll still be able to do is schedule a one-on-one session with your academic advisor throughout that week. So you'll be able to not only hear a message from them, introducing themselves and what you're going to be looking forward to throughout the week. But then you'll have an individualized meeting, a one-on-one session with your academic advisor to talk about your fall schedule. So we're really excited about that, in the sense that, again, this is something that we would normally offer in person that we can still do virtually as well. Then you'll get to hear from a lot of resources on campus, what residence life is like, what life on campus in a residence hall is like, and conversely, what commuter life is like. You'll be able to hear from our dean and our president of our commuter council to learn about life on campus. Other things that are offered on campus, things that we do during the semester, whether it be student organization run or whether it be through one of our departments that offers student activities. You're going to get to meet your classmates. So we find that this is the most important part, and this is the part that you guys look forward to the most. So we're going to be able to have options for you to meet your classmates, whether it be in small group settings, someone that you might be in a class with, someone from your same major, or someone not, in the same school that maybe you wouldn't normally meet on the first day of class, that we'll introduce you to over the summer via, again, socializing through virtual formats like this. You're going to be able to meet your e-mentor, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit. But we assign every first year student an e-mentor, and again, I'll get into that in just a little bit. You'll be able to learn about campus resources, what our university police department has to offer, our health and wellness services, departments of athletics, and information technology, what resources our library has. So again, we may not be meeting you in person this summer, but we are going to be able to offer you everything that you would normally get at orientation via this virtual format. We were talking a little bit about this morning, that, we're offering a very robust orientation session. We're not going to let anything stop us from being able to introduce you to Wilkes the same way we would, even if this whole situation was not going on. Okay. Parents and family and guests, don't worry, we have a session for you as well. So you'll be able to log in through our campus ESP system, and this will bode well for you later on throughout the whole time that your student is here at Wilkes, and log into our orientation hub to learn about really the same things that your student is learning about, but of course, topics that are related more to the parent side of supporting your student while they're at Wilkes. So being able to hear from their academic advisor, have live Q&As with our university college staff, any questions about academics, again, with residence life, commuter life, parking on campus, of course, can always be a big question. And you'll be able to meet some of our students as well through student panels and student interaction, some of our student leaders. So I mentioned before about our student staff. We have a full staff of 41 e-mentors and a staff of 6 student coordinators that oversee specific things as we plan. We're as cool as us staff people are, we want to make sure that we have students involved in the planning in order to welcome you. They went through the same process. They know what it's like to be here at Wilkes, and they know what it's like to stay at Wilkes for their 4 years or their 6 years. And they want to make sure that they're welcoming you the same exact way that they were welcomed by their peers as well. So again, we have 6 student coordinators all overseeing different components of student orientation, and then our e-mentor staff. So the way that we look at the transition into college is certainly multifaceted. Obviously, there's academic components, there's the social component, there's life away from home. So we pair each first year student with an upperclassman, a peer, to be able to ask questions and lean on them for support throughout not only the summer months, but also throughout the entire fall semester. So this e-mentor will be paired with you throughout. You'll be able to ask questions of upperclassmen. Again, they were in your shoes. They know exactly what it's like to be a first year student at Wilkes. And they're looking forward to being able to lend that support. No question is a bad question for the e-mentors. We certainly train them on a lot of different components of campus life, but also, they know the tips and tricks that we don't. We're the best study spots in the library. What what vending machines are always filled and where to certainly get the best bang for your buck when it comes to your meal plan with dining dollars and things like that. So they are there to support you in any way possible. And we find that this is a really nice, unique product to Wilkes. We've been running our eMentor program for a few years now, and we find that it definitely makes a difference when the students have another person to lean on. And certainly it's not extraordinary, that the eMentors are the only people that you can lean on. Of course, our staff and faculty are always welcoming as well. So that segues nicely into introducing Alana Guerrero. She's been our student coordinator now for the past 2 years. She liked it so much she came back for a second year. She's served as an e-mentor, so she can give you a little bit of the perspective from a student leader side. Alana?
Hi, everyone. My name is Alana Guerrero, and like Missy already said, I am the student orientation coordinator. So I do want to apologize first off. My internet's a little spotty, so if you can't see me, but you can hear me, that might happen. Bear with me here. But basically, I was asked here to talk about my experiences kind of through the whole process of orientation. So 4 years ago, I was just like you guys, fresh out of high school, not completely sure about Wilkes. I did apply to other schools. I didn't really know what I wanted to go for back then. Like I was in between like business, biology, like really two ends of the spectrum. But then like I stepped foot on Wilkes and I said, I don't care what my major is. I just knew I wanted to be here. So I think I came in as a biology major. So I had a biology mentor. So I remember coming for orientation. I registered twice. I registered for the first one. Me and my friend who we planned on going with, she couldn't come. So I'm like, okay, we'll go to the July one. So I went to the July one. And I just remember like stepping on campus and I just didn't know where to go. It was super hot that day. To be anxious and hot in one day is not a great combo. But thankfully, like everybody was like, before I knew who they were, like the Blue Army was able to show me where my room was. They helped carry my stuff. So it kind of made like the transition a little easier. Like different to give strangers your stuff and walk away with. But, you'll learn that that's the Wilkes community. Like nobody will let you do something on your own. There'll always be a helping hand. Just kind of going through the process, just going to each session, not, they weren't all glamorous, but I definitely did learn things that, like, I definitely say I took something away from each of them, like financial aid. Like I'm starting to learn, like looking into school, like, my mom's not going to be the one who's always going to do it for me. She's going to be like, Alana, you're 21. You're going to need to do your own FAFSA at some point. Like, so definitely something to like, at least keep in the back of your head there. But it wasn't always like about learning something. It was also like the student experience, for sure. Like even if it wasn't planned, like we're going to have some great things planned for you to do in person at Welcome Weekend, and also some great things for you to do virtually at orientation. But definitely you can always make your own experience too. Like I just remember being up until 1 a.m. playing volleyball on the sand courts with anybody I could find to play with me. So like definitely like you make the most out of your experience here. I remember doing community service, and I didn't understand what planting mulch at a church had to do with biology, but like I was down for it because it gave me an opportunity to get to know my mentor. It gave me an opportunity to like meet people around me. Some of them I still like, they're graduating. Like I said, I'm a 4th year, so going into my 5th year, like they graduated this past week ago. So definitely like getting to know them. So I just found like the orientation experience like just crazy. The most memorable part of orientation, which I hope you guys still get to experience, and I say to this day, is there's a thing called like socializing the Wilkes way, and it's 300 kids, like 200 to 300 kids, and you're put in this room, and this lady you'll meet, her name is Jill. She's the coordinator for adventure education, and she tells everybody stop and look around the room. You might meet the person you're going to marry in this room. And for some reason, that just hit me like a ton of bricks because I was 17 years old. And I'm like, you mean to tell me my husband could be in this room? So definitely that's one of those standstill moments that I'm going to remember to this day, that I hope you guys, at least even virtually, I hope that you guys can get that experience. But going on to like from my orientation experience, like I kind of grew up and like, my first year, I decided not to be a mentor. I was like, I was in the process of changing my major. I changed from biology to nursing because nursing just was a calling to me. So I decided, I said, let me get my life on track before I try to, to be a mentor to other people. So I said I needed a mentor then. But now, fast forwarding past my sophomore year, I decided to be an e-mentor. So a nursing e-mentor. It's a completely different experience when you're on the other foot, for sure. It's like you kind of have like a couple years under your belt. You kind of know like, oh, what books to buy, what books not to buy. Like, what SIs to go to, like you just kind of have your ins and outs, and you kind of feel like I have one up kind of almost. So definitely I feel that for sure. You're kind of more like, you'll see your e-mentor, like it's very relaxed this year, but in the past, like we'd have to like a schedule and we'd have to get you from one place to the next place to the next place. But at some points you'll just be calm and everything will just be quiet. And then you and your e-mentor and your group will get like this unexperienced, like I can't even describe it. Like I'm like flustering myself here. Like you'll get this opportunity to bond with them, like these complete strangers, and you'll learn like they live down the street from you. Like I learned that with one of my mentees who ended up becoming one of my close friends here. So it's definitely something like a process with it, and definitely lean on your e-mentor. Like I'm actually returning to be an e-mentor this year. Normally like that's unheard of to be a coordinator and an e-mentor. But like my mentees that I had 2 years ago still reach out to me to this day. They ask me, like they're going into their junior year and they're still asking me like, what should I buy? Like what scrub should I wear? Like if there's a speck of pink on my shoes, does it matter? Because nursing, you have to have only white shoes. So like definitely it's somebody like a resource for you to go to, and it's free advice. So you might as well take advantage of that. We're going to fast forward right to where we are here. Like Missy said, I've been lucky enough to experience this job for the last 2 years now. So going into my second year, and they don't prepare you for this. Like it's different roles. When you're the mentee, you're like, this is my college experience. Like I'm gonna get all of this. Like I don't know what I need to do tomorrow, but I don't care. I'm gonna live it up right here, right now. And then going to the e-mentor, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to keep everyone together. I hope they're having a good time. Like you're always worried about that. It's like the next level of that. So as like the orientation coordinator, my job is to kind of serve as like a liaison, like the middle woman between like you guys, your parents, the faculty, the staff, orientation staff, the e-mentors. So like getting pulled in like a million directions and all at the same time sometimes. So definitely it's to make communication a lot easier. So that way, like it's a more refined telephone pole, like I like to say. I also do the overall production of orientation that you'll see, and welcome weekend, which you guys will get to experience in the fall when we come back with our extended welcome weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun stuff there. But I plan like the social events. Like at this orientation, you guys, one of the social events is a virtual bingo. So if you don't already have a bunch of Wilkes gear, like if you lost your flag in the mail from admissions, don't worry. We are going to have plenty of Wilkes gear to give away. So definitely we're going to make the most out of all of this and the experiences. And hey, you might see something that you didn't win, but you know where to find it now. But I'm trying to think. I'm losing my train of thought a little bit. So doing all that, doing the schedules, so making sure that you guys are kind of getting to where you need to be, but also if there's like an issue at some point, like you didn't have time to meet with your academic advisor, like me and Missy would contact your academic advisor to make sure, like, don't worry, like just because you didn't meet them, you're still a Wilkes student, you're still going to have a schedule. It's not the end of the world, I promise. So definitely, like, we've had to do things like that. So don't freak out at any point. You can always come to your mentor, and your mentor will come up to us. Or even if you see one of us, like I've been stopped many times and I can count that, you can always rely on us as a resource too, because the thing that makes Wilkes so special is that we will stop everything to make sure you have the best college experience here. So that kind of segues into like my next talking point, a kind of about your experience at orientation. So if you haven't followed like social media yet, you haven't heard that our theme is going to be a camp theme. So it's like Camp Colonel, like we're the colonels. And then kind of like the inspiration behind it is that you're kind of like, ironically during this time, like your last hurrah almost before coming to college. Like you think of like a simpler time, like camp, you always make memories there. It's always something memorable. If you have got to experience camp, if you haven't, we have for Welcome Weekend, we have this beautiful camp that's actually up the way if you're a local. It's called Camp Kreski, and it's a whirlwind of fun between canoeing, kayaking, fire pits, ghost stories, ropes court, like different things, literally. Even if you're not a camp person, I like to plop on the deck and get my tan on. If you can't tan, then there's some nice hammocks under the trees. There's something for everyone, I promise. So it's definitely a fun experience that I hope you guys can all, get on board with, or go with the flow, or at least be open-minded. I think that's one of the biggest things about Wilkes is how open-minded we are to try anything once. Like, we brought goat yoga to campus once. Like, we are so open to going as far as anything you can think of. But what's so great about us is that you're going to get that individualized attention. You may not think like, oh, like, my summer's ruined, or I have to make like the most important decision of my life, like what college I'm going to go to. Like, you're going to learn to see and focus on that. Like, as you're going through orientations, what universities or colleges take the time to see you as an individual. Like, how many academic advisors are you going to meet one-on-one? How many people are going to make sure you can attend sessions like this so that way your voices are heard, or your questions are answered, or that somebody's sitting 24/7 on a chat line talking about myself here, to make sure that you guys can log into your portal or things like that. So it's definitely what makes Wilkes so special. And you'll hear from anybody on campus, that's one of the top things, 3 things they love about Wilkes is how close, connected our campus is. So I think that's really all from me. We do have some social media pages that I'm going to post in the chat as you guys have questions. So if you wanted to follow our social media, it's definitely a value. You'll see our introductions of each e-mentor. So as your e-mentor is getting introduced, you'll find out closer to orientation who your e-mentor will be, and they'll get in contact with you. But even if you just want to see anybody on campus, this e-mentor, they start as a mentor to you, but later they become a friend. So definitely it's something to look out for, because we're going to post fun things about orientation on there, maybe some sneak peek of prizes, events, things coming up. And if you're a nursing major on here, there's a 50% chance that I will be your e-mentor. So.
Alana, that was great. Thank you so much. I just want to hop in quick. We do have 2 questions. I did post them in the chat, but we have a question about what the dates are for the orientation, and then what time will orientation start. And I know that that's a little bit different this year, so maybe if you guys could explain that a little bit, that'd be awesome.
Sure. And you're going to continue seeing my fellow coworker here that likes to jump up on the computer while I'm doing things, especially live. So we can ignore that. The joys of working from home. So thank you, Jackie. To answer your question, we are scheduling our orientations, our first session, June 28th through July 2nd. And July 12th through the 16th. Again, you only have to choose one of those sessions. They'll be mirrored images of each other, so if you can attend one, that's good enough. The time frame in which the orientations are going to begin, again, are going to look a little bit different. So that first day, that Sunday of the first the first day of your orientation, you'll be able to log on and move through the orientation components and the orientation modules on your own, at your own pace. And then you'll kind of get an idea of what will be offered when and live throughout the rest of that week. Of course, as we plan, we'll definitely put that schedule up on our webpage, which I'll throw out there to you as well. But it's not designed for you to sit there 5 days on a screen, because we know that that's not ideal. And we certainly know that in the summer, it's just too nice to stay inside on a screen. Feel free to bring it outside though, if your Wi-Fi goes that far. But you'll be able to log on at certain times. And again, these will all be scheduled out as we continue planning, and they'll be posted within the next week or so of what time those live sessions will start. But again, that first day of orientation, there'll be nothing live that you'll have to worry about going on and figuring out. You will have the opportunity to make those scheduled appointments with your advisor and your financial aid counselor if you so choose. So I would go on and in a timely fashion and certainly make those appointments so you can get the time that works best for you and your schedule. But again, the other sessions will be planned out and again posted in about a week. if you visit our website, wilkes.edu/orientation, you'll have the most current and up-to-date information on that site. Of course, we're going to be sending out regularly scheduled individualized emails, so keep an eye on your email as well. But we are going to be posting all of the updates on our wilkes.edu/orientation website. That'll have the most current information for you going through this process.
Sorry to interrupt. You guys can continue. Oh, I'm sorry. We did just get one other question. During orientation, will we be able to make specialized meetings with other staff, such as someone from University College? And then I'll be done. You guys can.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So you'll be able to, we'll have a full resource page as you move through these modules, and you'll be able to schedule an appointment really with anyone that you would like to throughout this whole process and even beyond. So just because you come to the first orientation session doesn't mean that you can't ask questions, or certainly jump on those websites again and go through the same information later on, up to and including your return to camp or your arrival on campus. So you can make individualized appointments with any of our resources that we offer or that we introduce you to, because we all have individualized emails, and it doesn't matter if it's outside of the orientation timeline at all. There'll be generic information through these webinars and through these live sessions where everyone can jump on and certainly ask the questions that they would like to. But again, very individualized attention when it comes to certain questions that you have maybe remaining after orientation as well, whether that be through an email, a phone call. We certainly are open to any communication outside of the orientation sessions, for sure. Mm-hmm. But just to, talk a little bit more about what you can expect at orientation. We talked about those individualized appointments, learning about your academics. Alana certainly mentioned our social components that we're going to have throughout the evenings of orientation. The idea really truly is to get to introduce Wilkes to you, familiarize yourself with what we have to offer, certainly not only logistically, but, on the social side of things as well. Just because we're not in person doesn't mean we're going to ditch all the fun that goes along into our orientation sessions. So again, we're bringing everything that we would normally offer in person to you virtually. Now, hopefully we can return in August, and we are certainly striving and planning to do just that. So our welcome weekend is scheduled for August 26th through the 29th. That is a Wednesday through a Saturday, where you'll be able to come onto campus and appreciate, everything that we have to offer in person. So whether it be a wrap up of our orientation information, reintroducing yourself to your academic advisor, getting to learn your peers or getting to know your peers on a deeper level, certainly knowing what you can go into your first semester learning and having under your belt, where to get a work study position, how to get involved on campus, and what works for you. All the topics that we normally study sessions, academic, as things pop in, academic support systems that we have in place, where to find a tutor, and how to get into those supplemental instruction options through your academic coursework. All the things that we again normally would introduce you to through orientation and through welcome weekend, we're still planning on doing all of that, just in 2 different formats, for sure. Jackie, any other questions come in?
Yeah, I do have another question, actually. Someone says, I plan on taking a summer class at Wilkes, which is at the same time as orientation. How can I do both?
Sure. It totally makes sense that things would overlap, right? So that's the beauty of this online orientation, is that you'll be able to schedule and move through the modules at your own pace. If for some reason your class overlaps with the live webinar, just let us know. We'll have everything recorded, and we'll put you in touch with those particular people that maybe if you weren't able to attend, again, the live session of things. We are offering all one-on-one sessions throughout orientation when it comes to overlapping schedules of things, and certainly being able to work around your class schedule to make those appointments with your financial aid counselor and your academic advisor. We know that certainly it's not a cookie cutter 2 days that we would normally have you on campus for. So that's why we've extended those opportunities for you to be able to work around your schedule and fit in the things that you can when you can, for sure. Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. And I think that's kind of a perk of this year, is that we're able to be so flexible and work with people's schedules. Even, you know, those students that are trying to get ahead and take some classes, I think it's kind of a benefit this year. Can you guys hear me?
Did we lose Jackie?
No.
Again, the joys of working from home and the virtual component, which we will definitely work all out before orientation.
Can you guys hear me okay now?
We can hear you now.
Okay,
yeah.
sorry.
No, don't be.
I was just basically saying that this is just such a nice thing to be able to work around people's schedules. But agree with Missy, working from home, obviously we all are at this point in the stage of the game. So we're just trying to do our best with all of these things. So I don't have any other questions right now, but if there's anything else that you guys want to cover that you didn't have the chance to, I don't know, some of these students maybe haven't, not all of them have logged into the portal yet. So maybe if you could just quickly talk about that, I think that might be something good to do.
Sure. Alana, do you want to take that one, or would you like me to? Okay, I'll do that. So you will, when you finally decide to deposit, you will get your login information sent to you to log into your portal. And that will then lead you to what we call our orientation station. There's a couple things to do prior to, registering for an orientation. It was one of those to-dos, but you'll be able to go in and select some course preferences. You'll be able to, choose your final major that you're deciding to study, and you'll be able to go on and do your housing and dining contracts if you are living on campus. Learn a little bit more about what dining, if you're commuting, looks like, and also do a math placement test if that does apply to your major. Mostly sciences. That will apply to mostly the science students, as well as finance if you're studying finance in our business school. So again, a couple of things to do prior to, including registering for that orientation session. But if you can't get into your portal or you can't get into the orientation station, you can certainly always email us at orientation@wilkes.edu. We try to keep it pretty simple. So feel free to email with any questions or concerns to that email even after this session, or if you're having any problems logging on. Once you've deposited, you'll receive that login information. So if you haven't deposited just yet, then unfortunately you won't be able to get in and see all of that information, but you can learn more about our information at our EDU page, which is again, wilkes.edu/orientation. And then
Awesome.
from there, you'll be able to log in and get into our course that we're launching for our orientation sessions.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
We had a question. I know Alana answered it in the chat, but maybe if you could just quickly go over it too. When will we get our IDs?
Sure. So during that pre-orientation checklist, you'll be able to upload your ID photo and all of your information into our system. And then once you arrive on campus in August, you'll be able to receive your ID in person. We'll be able to distribute them whether you're living on campus. You'll be able to receive those with your room key and your room assignment, as well as we'll have them ready for commuters as well when they come onto campus for a welcome weekend. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I have another question here, and this is kind of about IT. So I've been emailing someone from orientation about needing a password reset. I was told to contact the IT help desk and haven't received a response. How do I go about getting this fixed?
Okay, so if you need to discuss any issues with IT, we can put you in touch with them. So if you can, maybe if you can email orientation@wilkes.edu, just one more time, we'll make sure that we get you in touch with the right people. We apologize about the disconnect. So the idea behind our two systems is that your login information should get you into both your portal and the orientation station. If you're having trouble with login, IT is going to be the first step. But then if you can get into your portal but not your orientation station, that may mean something different. So if you're having trouble logging in general, we can walk you through that password change process. And if you're having trouble just getting into the station but can access other things, then again, that we'll have to look into that just a bit further, as that may mean that you're not coded correctly in our system. So if you could just send a reminder email, or even just shoot Alana your name here in the chat, we can make sure that we're checking up with that and making sure that we get you in touch with the right people, for sure.
Awesome, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
How will I get my room key and ID if I report to campus early for a sport?
Great question. So Residence Life works with our Residence Life staff works with our athletic teams and our athletic coaches to get you all of that, all the items that you would need to move into your room. So around the end of July, early August, you'll receive your rooming assignment. So you'll know which hall and which room you are assigned to. Once you get onto campus early, you'll report probably to your coaches, but you'll receive instructions on specifically what day to report and when and where. You'll be able to pick up all that information. Again, Residence Life works very closely with our athletic staff and our coaching staff, so you should receive a notification from probably your coaches first, and then they'll let you know where exactly to meet to pick up all that information. But usually you'll be able to meet your coach right away, and he'll get you she or he will get you all the things that you need.
Fantastic. Again, another question on early arrival. And I know some of this we're still working on fleshing out the details, but anything you have would probably be good. How will early arrival for a sport or a marching band work around Welcome Weekend this year?
Sure. So we are going to be able to offer a very fluid schedule for our student athletes and our marching colonels as well. So we'll be able to offer you the schedule that we work with the coaches to plan to make sure that you're at everything that you need to be at. And then all of the optional sessions that you're interested in that may overlap, we'll be able to offer you a summary based on not only the presenter that does offer that information or through your e-mentor. And we'll collectively meet with your e-mentor throughout that weekend, and you can ask any questions that you may have remaining. But again, those quote unquote required sessions that we really encourage attendance at, we'll work around we'll work with your coaches to schedule those particular components. And then the optional, more fluid ones, again, we'll be able to wrap up and summarize for you to give you that information, again, through your e-mentor or through online resources or even a small in-person meeting.
Awesome.
Yeah, great question.
And that is a good question. And then one other question, is the ID picture due on June 1st, or can I upload my picture during June?
You definitely can. You can upload your picture anytime throughout this process. So if you are waiting like I am to get my hair cut and the salons to reopen, you can upload your photo whenever you would like to. But just do make sure that you can upload it before Welcome Weekend, so then your ID is ready to go. But know anytime that you're on campus, if you have not submitted a photo, we'll take it right then and there and issue your ID there as well, especially if you're having some technical issues getting that picture in.
Yes, and I probably would like to work up a little tan before I take a picture like that. So totally understandable.
It's gonna be your picture for the next 4 to 6 years, remember?
And maybe longer if you decide to work there after, which is what happened to me. So make sure it's a good one.
Absolutely. There are guidelines on those photos, so just be sure you're following the guidelines to make sure that you're submitting the best photo that'll work for our system.
Perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I have another question here. What would be a to-do list in your eyes before orientation? And I'm not sure, I know we obviously have a checklist online, but I think this person may be referring to like, you know, how to get ready, I guess, for orientation.
I'm going to let that all to Alana.
For orientation, for sure, follow what's on there so that way you can have it done. Your parents aren't probably hassling you like, oh, did you get it done? Because I know mine was. So just make sure that, let's start there. Definitely like utilizing like that Facebook chat that Jackie mentioned in the chat earlier, the class of 2023, 2025, like get to know people maybe beforehand. It'd be a little different if we were in person for sure, just because like I knew like, oh, like I talked to this person online, like they seem really cool, like I'd love to meet them in person. So definitely like putting yourself out there. I know people have been putting like a photo up. You say where you're from, what you plan on like majoring in. You say the type of person you are, and like if you're still looking for a roommate, you're like, this is the type of person I am. Like, let me know if you still need a roommate, and it kind of gets you. I like to say it's speed dating almost. Like I laugh a little bit because I just like learn so much about a person and like just a quick read. But definitely do that. Social media is big. I like to look at all the Wilkes social medias so I can come with questions too for my e-mentor. Because even if your e-mentor is not involved with something, they can put you in touch with somebody who is. Like I had a mentee who was interested in ROTC. I'm obviously not an ROTC, so I lost my train of thought there. I sent her on her way to talk to one of my other e-mentor friends that I knew was involved with that. So definitely kind of come with like even a list of questions. You have no idea how much we love it when we hear like a list of questions. It kind of gives us like fulfillment in our job that we're not just like kind of walking you around campus, but more like we're actually mentoring you. So definitely come like with a list of questions, or even if you see something you like online and you're like, oh, what's that bell tower in the back for? What's this room for? And it's like the commuter lounge, or kind of go the ins and outs, or kind of think of things like, oh, well, what do you wish you knew that you didn't know then? Like if you can ask them that question, that's my favorite question that I get. Trying to think, orientation's different from welcome weekend, but like if you ask me what do you need to know before you come to welcome weekend, that's a different question. But orientation, I would start there, is kind of get your foundations and get to know your people. And if you want to add your mentor on social media, when you do find out who they are, definitely it makes it easier to connect with them too. So that's all I have. I hope that helps.
I think that was great.
Yeah, I think I would just add one more thing. I think I would get familiar with checking my Wilkes email. So, you know, we'll be communicating some easy step-by-step processes through via email, your personal email, on how to check your Wilkes email, because a lot of the communication that you're going to receive from here on out will be through your wilkes.edu email. So, as you could tell, the natives are getting restless here, sorry. So I would learn how to start checking your Wilkes email and get familiar with your portal as well. Mm-hmm.
That's great. And since we're on the topic, Alana mentioned e-mentors. I have a question. When will you guys give the e-mentor assignments, and when will they find out, I guess, who their mentor is?
Sure. So we're looking at mid-June for pairing e-mentors with first-year students. So we're going to let you guys get in, do your to-do list, your checklist, make sure that you've chosen the major that you want to continue on. Certainly, of course, you can always change that, but we'll pair you accordingly once all of that is uploaded and ready to go, and we start rolling out with some more orientation-specific to-dos. So around mid-June, you'll find out who your e-mentor is. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Another question, when will the students receive their schedules?
At first year student orientation. So okay. You'll be able to access your schedule, your fall semester schedule, prior to your one-on-one meeting with your advisor. They will then discuss your your fall schedule and tweak and change anything that maybe you need to work around or you would like to add to your schedule. And they'll explain how that process works, what timeline you should be on with all of your courses in order to accomplish your end goal by the end of the 4 to 6 years. And then any questions that you might have based on your schedule, you can talk to them about as well.
Great. Let's see. This may not exactly be related to orientation, but I'm not sure if either of you would know this. Since I am stuck out of the portal, who can I email to change one of the distribution courses that I chose? I don't know if either one of you would know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Send that right to orientation@wilkes.edu, and we'll make sure that we get those changes made on the back end of your orientation station. So just be specific about what you did choose and what you would like to change it to. And that will help us make sure that that's streamlined. Any questions related to any of those checklists, your portal information, the schedule, anything can be sent to orientation@wilkes.edu, and we'll make sure we get you those answers. Even if it's not orientation related and you're just not sure where to send it to us and we'll make sure it gets to the right person. We apologize about the inconvenience that someone may have encountered with IT. Sometimes there's just a little bit of a lack of understanding on which side we're not able to access. So we do apologize about that, and we'll work through some of those issues prior to you being able to access everything and get everything that you need to online.
Awesome. And this is kind of a general question, and I think I would probably defer to an admissions counselor and a coach on this one, but they're asking, do you need previous experience to participate in a sport? And I would think I would just defer to, the coach of that sport. If you maybe don't know who that is, contact your admissions counselor, and that person would be happy to put you in touch with the coach. I think, I'm not exactly sure, but I would probably think that, some of those things may be person to person basis and not so much a one blanket answer. So definitely reach out to your admissions counselor, who can then put you in touch with the coach of that particular sport. Do you guys have anything to add on that?
With sports, I've seen a variety of people, somebody who's never picked up like a golf club in their life, but they're on the golf team, or people who've played all their life on the football team. So it all really does depend on what sport you plan on playing. If your admissions counselor can't figure out who the coach is, you can also look up on wilkes.edu/athletics too, to figure out, because all their emails are listed. But if you're not sure about a sport and you want to try something out, I don't know what sport you were considering, we do as well have intramural teams where if we don't offer it, you can always start one. So if it's like soccer, if it's flag football, it's basketball, volleyball, anything like that, you definitely can play intramurally if you don't want to play on the college level. So they meet like random times, like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday night, or kind of whatever works best with everybody's schedule. Too, so it's not as big as a time commitment, and you can see like, hey, maybe like my sophomore year, I really want to play. So there's always that as an option too.
Absolutely.
Well, that is awesome. I think we've answered most of the questions here. Is there anything else that you guys want to add? We have just a couple of minutes left. We took up a lot of the time with a lot of our good questions from our attendees, and you guys explaining the new format as well. So if there's anything else that you guys want to share, I think now would be a great time.
Sure. So not specific to orientation, but if you are still undecided on coming to Wilkes, I would encourage you to certainly participate in the rest of this week's sessions. You'll get to hear from a lot of different people on campus, whether it be students or staff or faculty, and hopefully they can help you decide on why Wilkes is the best place for you. We hope that you're staying healthy and safe, and certainly exploring your options over the summer. Get outside, get some fresh air, learn, something new about something that maybe you normally wouldn't be able to. I'm still working on that. I'm going to pick my challenge very shortly here. But really, we're so excited to welcome you to Wilkes, and we're excited about the challenge of this new normal, as everyone likes to say, being off campus and offering things virtually. But it's really challenged our creativity, and we really think that we've come up with a really robust orientation to offer, and we are not, skimping on anything that we would normally offer in person. We're offering it all to you virtually. We look forward to welcoming you in the fall. Alana, anything to add? And please ask questions. If you have any, please reach out. That's what we're here to do. If you're uncertain on anything, please reach out.
Sorry. Go ahead, Alana.
No. You go if whatever you have.
I just have a question here from someone who's a transfer student who wants to know which credits are accepted and which they will need to make up. Again, I would think that this would be something to reach out to your admissions counselor about individually. Your counselor is probably either Amy Patton or Lauren Layton. I am happy to put you in touch with them if you don't have their information, but that's, that's more of like on an individual basis. A lot of classes do transfer to Wilkes, but you kind of need to talk about those individually with your counselor.
And there will be a transfer orientation offered, one in June, one in August, and again, one in January. So we do host transfer orientations through our University College Department. They'll be able to send you more information on that as well. Alana, do you have anything else?
Nothing, just from student to student, definitely keep your eyes open to see new possibilities and give Wilkes a chance. Like I said, if you want to make a name for yourself, especially at a small school, this is the place for you, because I never thought I could. And here I'm the orientation coordinator, and I've got some other titles, but I'm not going to bring those in here. But definitely you can make a name for yourself here, I promise. So it's worth trying, worth experiencing before you give another school a chance. I definitely believe this is the start for you, genuinely.
Well, that is just so great. You guys are doing such a great job planning orientation and making sure that our incoming students have all the opportunities that are possible at Wilkes. So thank you both so much for being here. Really appreciate it, and really appreciate your time. So hopefully our students got some good knowledge out of this. And then again, this session is recorded, so we will be posting this later for your review. Also, any questions, orientation@wilkes.edu. We did put it in the chat a couple times, and wilkes.edu/orientation is another great resource for you all. So thank you everyone for joining, for being here. We appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks all.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.